Hi, my name is Brandon White and welcome to Haas Productions. On this channel we specialize in short films, tutorials, and every now and then some gear reviews. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe consider subscribing. We'd love to have you along. And now let's go ahead and get into what today's is. So today we're going to be talking about some tips I have for making a documentary film, and that's going to be both storytelling and the technical side of making a documentary film. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so when you're getting started out with your documentary and you're coming up with the idea of what you want it to be, definitely have a solid idea of what you want the final version to be, but don't get too attached to a certain story in your mind, because once you go to interview people, you're going to have no idea what they might say or where the story could potentially go in a lot of different directions. So I would just say, as a beginning note, be flexible and be open-minded for the story to kind of go down a different path than you originally planned. Another tip I have, and this is kind of a general tip for both interviewing people and when you're editing, is keep in mind you can tell a lot about a person, and I mean specifically your subject in your film, by what other people say about them.
So me and JoJo originally met. We went to high school together.
You know, my first impressions of him was he was a little intimidating.
Jordan tends to live on the edge a little much.
The main character, Jordan, I have his friends. I ask them different questions and have them talk about good and bad things about him, so you can really, establish who he is and what his life is and what his music is, even before you've seen the main character. All right, so now you've shot all your stuff and you're looking at your clips and you've got all these interviews that you did with different people and you ask them all these questions about different things, but it's all just interviews and you don't know how is that a story at this point. And you're gonna get to a point in your documentary where you kind of get, I'm stuck. You're gonna be stuck. And you're gonna have to go figure out how that's gonna shape into a story. And I suggest just going through and looking at your clips and finding important things people say, and mark those as ones you like. And eventually it's kind of like writer's block and you're just gonna be in a rut. And that's just where I found myself. And I think it's just pretty common, because you're almost kind of writing a screenplay while you're editing, because you don't know what people are gonna say. And you're just gonna have to go through your footage, but eventually you're gonna find something that's a key thing, that's a good point for a story. And then you're gonna remember, oh yeah, somebody else said something about that same thing. And you can tie those together and it's gonna start snowballing into your story. So once you get past your sort of writer's block phase and you're starting to see what your story is, I would then stand back and look at it kind of like you would a narrative, and you want a definitive beginning, middle, and end. And that's just important, I feel like, just the general story structure. So finding what's the best clips for your intro to introduce your character and your story and let us know what it's going to be and where it's kind of going.
It all starts with the beat. I always got to have the beat first.
And then the middle, towards the end part of the middle is when I would usually put a low point. Like your character's at a low point and they're struggling a lot and they don't know kind of what the future holds, and maybe you kind of want to give up.
I didn't start making music until my best friend passed, and that just kind of shook me up, and he always wanted me to record music.
So kind of in that character's low point is then the triumph of how they're going to overcome that struggle, and that's going to launch you right into your final act and the ending of your story. And so kind of in my case, it's more the positive note is where he went and that he decided to be inspired and really go for his music more than he ever did. And that's kind of, him looking to the future, in a positive light. And that's kind of one of the ending things he said is just like, looking at a bad situation and finding kind of the silver lining in that situation, and kind of, I don't know, that's a good way to end it. And it's just going to be different in every documentary, and specifically mine or what you might be doing. But kind of the main thing is beginning, middle, and end is finding that and then fine-tuning it as you go. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit more about making a documentary film. If so, I'd really appreciate it if you click that like button. That really helps out the channel a lot. If you loved it and you want to join along every week, well, we're going to be posting videos regularly, so we'd love to have you along. So go ahead and click that subscribe button. And also, if you have a documentary experience or some tips, you can let me know in the comments, or even if you want to share your documentary film, you can put a link. I'd love to check it out. So feel free to share down below in the comments. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.